welcome to Safety Shorts. Whether you're listening in for a toolbox talk or just tuning in to see what's new and reflect on safety, we hope our episodes are the perfect bite-sized portion to fit in your day. From this series, you can expect to hear about safety tips and best practices, learn about new ideas, and most of all, listen to safety stories from our industry guests and hear about their lessons learned.
Hi, I'm Emily Hargrove, Director of Occupational Health and Safety for NSSGA. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Safety Shorts. Joining me today will be a familiar voice to many of you. I want to welcome Libby Pritchard, Senior Director of Sales and Business Development with Specialty Granules. Libby, many of our listeners know you from your role in safety and health here at NSSGA. You and I had a conversation a while back, and you said something that really stuck with me, that everyone has a safety story. How has your safety story changed as you've transitioned into your new position?
Yeah, thanks so much, Emily. And I can't even tell you how cool and surreal it is to be doing this, because I think everybody who starts something they love wants it to outlive them, to be taken over by somebody bigger and better. So this is very cool. I have got an ongoing safety story, I guess, to share today. So I recently switched from, of course, my safety director role to now a business development and sales role. And you'll notice that safety is nowhere near that title. It was a really big jump going from my day-to-day focus being on health and safety to all of a sudden asking questions like, how many tons of this do we have on the ground? Or what's the haul rate for that? Or what's our average sales price? It was a whole new perspective to view the business from. And to be honest, leaving safety kind of felt like I was leaving a little piece of myself at the door. Like I was leaving that safety professional part of me on the outside looking in. But, one of the things that we say is safety is everybody's job, or everyone is a safety person. We hear things like that thrown around all the time in mining. And when I was making this shift, I really wanted to treat it as an opportunity to try and embody that, which I've found is tricky. I'm not in operations. I'm not at the plant every day. I'm not even interacting with our plant folks super often. Most of my days are spent at the corporate office, or I talk to customers quite a bit. So especially in my first couple of months starting out at this new role, it felt like a real challenge. But one of the things that happened really early is I talked with our corporate head of health and safety, and we just nerded out over health and safety for a while. We talked about safety in general, the changes, trends, things that I really cared about, things that he really cared about. Of course, what was going on in our organization, talked some about my safety background. And one of the things I specifically shared with him is that I felt really kind of sad no longer being in a safety specific role, and that I felt really nervous that I wouldn't, or now I couldn't be able to make a real impact on health and safety for our people, even when I have still such a passion for it. And I'm so grateful for what he told me during that conversation. He said, being a quote, non-safety person actually gives you a whole new kind of influence, and not to discount how powerful that is. And the kind of message it sends when somebody from sales comes in, to the plant, and they immediately focus on safety. Not talking about numbers, you're not focusing on the tons out the door. You'll get to that too, but putting safety front of mind, consistently talking about it. He said that really sends a message in a way that on our safety team, we can't send that same kind of message, because safety is their job. It is in their title, and they're quote unquote supposed to always be talking about it. But when leadership or folks from non-safety parts of the business come in and really own safety, that's powerful in its own way. So there's a few things that I'm really trying to specifically do to still lead in safety, even when my core role is something else. First one is my favorite, and I think the easiest, is to participate in safety shares. I, of course, love safety stories. People learn better by real life examples rather than just being reminded of regulations. So if I have a story to tell, I tell it, whether it's a silly thing I did over the weekend or a lesson I learned. I like to actively share those. We do a good job as a company starting off a number of our regular meetings with a safety share. So it's a built-in opportunity to participate. I've also shared a number of colleagues' stories, or my husband's, with their permission, of course, if I think they're good to share with the group. Second thing is, with my direct reports, is challenging them to have at least one safety goal as part of their performance goals. It doesn't have to be big. especially since they're also not in standard safety roles. I think it helps continue to build our safety culture by getting everyone involved and really embodying that everyone is a safety person, all the way from HR to comms to sales, every department, you can all be safety people. Third is I talk to our customers about safety. If I'm out touring a site, having lunch, whatever, I like to talk about safety because you never know where you're going to hear a great idea. Finally, I'll end on a specific story. When I first joined SGI, I heard over and over from one of our sites that a member of our sales team went above and beyond during one of the refresher trainings at our plants and how much it meant to the team. He didn't have to go to all the training. It wasn't mandatory for him, but he stayed for everything and was an active participant, shared stories, shared perspectives. And I think we all know training is so much more effective when it's interesting and it's new and we can connect it to real life. And here was a member of our sales team who didn't have to be there, engaging, bringing good energy, keeping the refresher from getting stale. I just thought it was such a good example of what I really want to embody as I move from my previous safety life into this new non-safety role, but still trying to be a safety person at heart. So the whole shift has really been learning to, quote, lead from any seat in the orchestra, where you don't have to be the conductor, or in this case, the safety pro, to be a safety person. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you so much. I think those are all fantastic takeaways. Really true that safety can be a part of any job and every job, and we can all make an impact regardless of our job title. So thank you again so much for joining me today and sharing your safety story. And thank you to our listeners. Till next time, stay safe.